Ladies and gentlemen, it is the end of the João Pereira and it is now Rui Borges era. Let's go. Welcome back to the final Strompcast of the year. If you're listening to it on, podcast platforms and you're not listening to it live, I hope you have a fantastic New Year's. Stay safe, all of that. Before we get into any of the future, let's get into the present. Let me introduce you to my co-host. First, we've got Chris. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. I honestly didn't. I don't think I expected yesterday to happen, but it happened. So yeah, feeling pretty good, renewed, you could say.
One sec, I cannot hear you anymore.
Oh no!
Richard, how are you today, man?
I'm good. I'm doing well. Huge win, unexpected win yesterday, but we will take that considering the month and a bit that we have had. Title race is very much still on. It's way more interesting than it should have had any business being by this point of the season, but we're there.
Yeah, nice. I can hear you now. I accidentally pressed the wrong button on my keyboard. We're all good.
Can you hear me again?
I can, yeah.
Okay, nice.
And last but not least, we got a special guest. Omar, how are you doing today, man?
I'm good, guys. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast today. Yeah, definitely hit the ground running yesterday, Mr. Rui Borges. So we'll see. We've got a tough spell of games coming up. So yeah, it's interesting. Got a lot to talk about today as well. So yeah, but yeah, thank you for having me.
No worries. Thank you for coming on. And unfortunately, Danny can't be here today, but make sure you follow him there as well. And make sure you follow all things Alvalade on all social media platforms. Without further ado, let's get into the game yesterday. And it was once again the Jenny Katamo show. Another goal against Benfica for Jenny. Let me read the lineup as followed. In goal, Franco Israel, Mateus Reis, St. Just Diamonde, Eduardo Quaresma, Kenda, Morita, Trincao, Hulman, Jenny, Yocres, and off the bench, Maxi Rujo, João Simoes, Fresneda, and Harder. A 4-back formation for the first time in probably about, 5 years now. So a massive change there. Since you're the guest, Omar, I'll start with you. What were your overall thoughts on this game?
Yeah, definitely a game of two halves. The first half, we really just started the game just attacking, pressing. Pretty much what we hadn't seen over the last few games. We just really went for it. The second half was definitely a Benfica controlled half. But we really held on. We really held on towards the end. But yeah, we hit the ground running. It's kind of what we needed to do. I don't know if that had anything to do with Rui Borges' style of motivating the players pre-game. But definitely under João Pereira, we saw lackluster performance on pretty much most of the games. So it was good. And I had a pleasure going and watching the game in one of the specific sporting cafes that we have here in London. So the atmosphere was good. Derby match. Couldn't have asked for anything more. Just to round off the week.
Yeah, shout out Sporting London Cafe. Very good place. If you're a Sporting fan in UK, in London or UK, make sure you go down there. Food is good, people are good, and of course, like Omar said, atmosphere is quality as well. Richard, what were your overall thoughts in this game?
I mean, they could have won by more. I think the scoreline is a little flattering to Benfica at times. I think Benfica was better in the second half for sure than Sporting was. I feel like they spent a lot more time in our half. I have some beef with Jenny Katamo for one specific incident, and that is the 4-on-1. And I was watching with some friends who aren't necessarily Sportingistas, but not even Portuguese, but they were like, oh, let's watch games. And they're on a break. It's 4-on-1. And I am yelling at him, pass it. Just pass it. Do anything but shoot. Pass it. You have 3 people wide open. And he shot at the closest defender to him. And my friends next to me, all they could do was burst out laughing. They couldn't believe what they had witnessed.
I'm pretty sure the initial shot was going wide as well. I'm pretty sure it was going
it was absolutely it was going to go nowhere near than that. That was just poor decision making. So yeah, I have a bit of. He scored the goal, but I have some beef with him on that. He could have put the game away and made it a lot less anxious of an ending. But yeah, happy with the performance. It seemed like there was that fight in them that we haven't seen in a while. all of their worst kind of qualities that we've seen the last month have kind of went away a bit. We weren't seeing as much sloppiness, still here and there, yes, but not as much as we'd seen. Especially from like the defenders. I thought all the defenders were great this game. Eduardo Quaresma was phenomenal. Diomande was great. Mateus Reis, outside of not really being able to cross, was good. Morito was the only kind of underwhelming player, I would say. And I would say it's his first game back from injury. So I'm not going to be overly critical of him on that. Like, I think even he was like doubtful for this game. I was pleasantly surprised to see him play. João Pereira is getting an awesome assist on the goal to Jenny. It's a wonderful run from him to kind of get around the Benfica defender and then just ping it across. And it's a good finish from Jenny, first time. Almost identical spot from where he scored the opening goal last season at the Alvalade against a very similar goal for the most part. Actually, like, yeah, good goal. I'm happy with the win. Israel, actually, I thought played well. He made a couple good saves in key moments, which they've needed for a while. They haven't really been getting that from either of their keepers.
Anticipated a couple crosses well, I thought.
Yeah, I was gonna say his reads
because
on the
it's like he
crosses were
could
nice.
not.
You're on mute.
Sorry. I was gonna say he anticipated some crosses well,
Yeah,
and like he could have stayed home, but who knows what happens if he stays home, or who knows what happens if he comes and doesn't get there. But
Yeah.
he got there every time.
yeah, he was. I was gonna mention that too. He was a lot more comfortable on crosses and balls coming across the box, which was very nice to see. We haven't always had that from him. Overall, happy with the game. Who's this? Yeah, very, very similar photo.
I'll be honest.
That's
Like,
crazy.
I thought he was gonna put it over, because if you
For a
even look,
split
it kind
second.
of skips up on him right at the last second. He does well to keep it down. Even it is close range.
He gets a little bit on top of it enough to keep it so he doesn't just sky it into the stands. But yeah, that's wonderful. Put that hang that in the loop. But yeah, very happy with the win. They go in first place so far to start the new year. They hold the tiebreakers, which is key because it might come down to that the way this title race is going. If they finish on points, they have the goal differential. They have the head-to-head right now on Benfica and Porto, even though they're home games. So all you need to do is not lose the away games, and you hold all the tiebreakers. But those will be coming much later in the season, as we know.
Yeah, facts. Chris, what were your overall thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a bit disappointing and sad that we couldn't keep the pace and the pressure that we had in the first half going for the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, for the 30 minutes or so that we did have that going, I mean, I don't like. Gil Vicente was passing around us in a way that, like, dominated us in a way that, like, we were just pressing them all over. They couldn't play out. It was actually kind of crazy. They literally couldn't do anything for like 30 minutes. I kind of knew that we probably needed to score a goal from that moment of the game to really make it count, which we did, which was awesome. Maybe we're fortunate slightly to not concede in the second half, but I will say that although Benfica obviously did dominate large stretches of the game, I wouldn't say that they had like 1.5 really, really good opportunities. And even the one that they had that the guy put wide, I mean, that's a tough finish. He has to kind of like side volley it. The dude whose name I don't even remember, like Amudni, Amduni, I think his name is Amdini. I think it was him. It's a tough finish. He doesn't put it on frame, but that's probably their best chance. Israel anticipated some crosses well, obviously, which, kind of killed a couple, crosses that could have been more dangerous if he doesn't come or he doesn't get there. But he did. I think it's a well-deserved win. It shakes up the table in a way that I didn't really expect. It feels like all three teams now have had internal revolts and recovered from them. It feels like the last couple seasons it's been a two-horse race. I mean, it's still early, right? And maybe we can reassess in like March. But I'd say it's a 3-horse race in a way that it has not been in previous seasons recently.
Mhm.
And I don't know what twists and turns await us still. And I do think that we do need to get our star man, Victor Gyökeres, more involved. But he was certainly more involved and more dangerous in this game than he has been recently, which was a promising sign. But we know he can still do more, and he can still get the ball in more dangerous positions.
Mhm.
But much improved, in my opinion. Got the assist. Some underperforming center backs played well. Humlin played great. I mean, I don't really have much to say other than maybe we make it 2-0 and kind of put the game to bed officially, but it's 3 points. It's first place. Rui Borges is 1-0.
He's won the same amount of home games, or no, he's already won almost the same amount of home games as João Pereira, and it's just
João Pereira loses this game 3-0.
Oh, they get peppered. I think if iPad boys behind the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing to note too, Chris. A lot of players are slowly starting to come back now. Like in the main pool, like Marita, this is his first game back. There's already rumors that Pot might be back. Probably
I
not
was
for the
kind of shocked Fresneda even got any minutes in a.
I was thinking,
I saw him
if
come
his
on,
guy
and
was
I forgot he
suspended.
existed.
He doesn't have
If this
anybody
guy
else.
was suspended, is
Yeah,
that his guy
true,
coming
no,
in, or is that Fresneda? That's what I wonder.
Yeah,
I don't know. I was
Pot's
kind of
expected to be
nervous.
back soon. Like I think they're saying Pot might be back for.
I suppose he was
Liga
okay.
next week. So who knows? But yeah, we've got players coming back slowly but surely. Pot
That boy, the
expected
suspension
potentially
will
next
end,
week.
yeah.
Inacio maybe next week. So we'll see. It'd be nice to see. I would have liked to see what João Pereira could have done with a healthy team. That being said, I don't think it would have been much better than what we saw. I just think the poor guy was out of his
Not
element.
that
which
much
we'll get
better.
into. I just think he was out of his element. I just think it was too much too soon. And there was just a lot of pressure. Like I hope he bounces back. I like João Pereira, but I don't think this was the right move for him.
Yeah, and as much as I like João Pereira, I think we already saw kind of from kickoff, as soon as the ball started moving on that field, we came out on attack mode like we hadn't done so on the JP, and I think that's just down to I like Rui Borges as a communicator. I did see the pre-game interview, and I just have to say, like, it gave me Amorim vibes with the way he was communicating. I know he's Rui Borges is a simpler man. He's from Trás-Montes, so, but he brings this kind of very simple, like, no BS type of look. We're gonna go tough times. It's not gonna be easy, opposed to what we saw with João Pereira, which was a lot of the ball just needs to go in. Like, we just need to get the ball at the back of the net, and things are gonna get going. And we scored goals during the games that he was overseeing, but the sentiment amongst the players didn't change. It was just very lackluster, sloppy performances. So, I guess we're a little difference here. Whether that's down to what he's saying in the locker room or pre-game, I don't know. But it's time will tell. Time will definitely tell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like I said from the first minute, it seemed like the players were more committed than they had been under João Pereira. And I do think a lot of it is to do with how, as a player, you look and you see your actual manager sat down. He can't give you instructions all
Can't
through
get up to the touchline. Yeah, like
it's
also,
it's all through the
here's the
assistant
thing,
manager.
like, we've all had a boss at work who, like, they're new, and you just know that they don't really know what they're doing. As a worker, you're just like, okay, whatever. Like, I feel like that was probably happening here. It's just like one of those assistants is 25. It's like, dude, I don't think they have the respect of the players, to be honest.
No.
Yeah, and I think there is almost.
There was no iPad. I didn't see an iPad. Sorry, I didn't see an iPad. I didn't.
Thank God. No iPads.
I did see one, but his assistant was using it, so it was like, good. Let the assistant do
the
that.
head coach
shit.
was using it. Good. If your head coach is using an iPad, utter woke nonsense.
Facts. Yeah, but yeah, just the commitment from these players. You saw it was just second to none. And I think every player that played, I thought was phenomenal. They each had their job. Mateus Reis had Di Maria in his pocket for the whole 90 minutes, man. He was insane defensively. And I did say when the lineup got announced, I was like, I don't really know how I feel about Mateus Reis as a lone left back. But I thought he was very good. Eduardo Quaresma mentioned as well. Defensively and offensively, I think arguably one of the most improved players in the last sort of 2 years. Just absolutely phenomenal. And I think he could be starting in that right back spot. I don't know if Inacio comes back, which one gets dropped? Probably St. Just, I would say. But then I think St. Just could also rotate with Quaresma at a right back position.
You just know that he's not an every game, every 90-minute type of guy, which is fine.
Yeah. But again, St. Just I thought was phenomenal as well.
Yeah,
There was
great.
that one shaky moment between the back three where Israel sort of got the ball and panicked past it.
And he just sliced it. Oh my God, that was bad.
Yeah, but I blame more Israel in this game. The only issue I had with this team was when Israel just didn't want to come off his line so many times. And you see St. Just and Diamonde like, grab the ball, come get it.
And it's your ball, you have it.
And he's just stuck on the line, and it nearly came to bite us a few times, like that St. Just opportunity there I mentioned. But luckily, nothing came of it. But even guys who didn't really get on the score sheet, didn't get any assist numbers. Trincao was fantastic. He did not stop running the entire game. I thought it was one of his better games that he didn't score in. Same with Hjulmand, you mentioned earlier. I thought Morita was actually okay, considering he came back from injury. I thought, didn't do anything fantastically, but I do think you do notice a big difference between him and Simoic when he plays. I feel like they're a lot more confident passing it to Morita and letting Morita create space in the middle. And I think Morita is very underrated in both those aspects as well. But yeah, everyone, even Giovanni Kenda, I think that 5.0 rating is a little bit harsh. I thought he did pretty well. He had that tough opportunity in the first half. Everyone's saying he maybe should have scored it, but I think the angle, unfortunately, was just a bit too difficult for him. A good save from Trubin as well. And, we'll get into man of the match later, but Trubin for Benfica was phenomenal, I thought. He made some really clutch saves with them, was good with the ball as well. Didn't look too under pressure. And, I've seen so many headlines about Thomas Araujo being like one of the best next centre-backs in the world, and he just looks so poor today. And the left back who's supposed to be...
but it looked like he was just hanging on by a fucking thread, bro. The one where he swipes at Gyökeres from behind, he does get the ball, but it's so lucky that he touches the ball. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, this is the next top center back for the Prem. I don't think so. I'll be honest. I mean, he's fine, but I just don't think he's that yet, at least.
Yeah, and that left back Alvaro, again, people are saying, United should never let him go. But he was just as bad, I thought. I thought Jenny had him on toast every single time. And this wasn't one of Jenny's best games. I know he scored, but it was a very frustrating game, I think, again, from Jenny Katamo. He did beat Alvaro a few times. I always have that issue with Jenny's last decision-making, whether he's crossing it or if he's shooting it, like Richard mentioned, giving it the ball to Maxi Araujo on the left-hand side, Gyökeres on the right-hand side. Either two options you pick is fine, and he shoots straight down the middle.
He had so much time to make a choice too. That was the infuriating part about that sequence. Was they were from the halfway line onwards. They were on a break.
Not the first time he's done that.
Yeah,
and it probably won't be the last.
Unfortunately, it will not be the last. I don't think.
I saw that in slow motion. They were running. Jenny's got the ball, and you think to yourself, "Man, Max there, you can just give it to him, just pass it to him," and you're just there watching it in slow motion, thinking, and he shoots it, and you're thinking,
I feel like Maxi is constantly unlucky in those situations, at least recently, where it's just always him that doesn't get the ball, and I can see that he's kind of getting pissed off, honestly.
Yeah, he was heated at the end of that. You saw him throw his arms up in the air and start shouting at him, which was fair.
Jenny in that moment was every annoying guy you've ever played pro clubs with. Which was, he has a guy wide open, and he's just like, I'm having it, boys. You know how I know? I'm that guy on pro club sometimes. That's how I know, because I'd be that guy sometimes. I'm like, I'm having a shot, boys. But yeah, you got to pass in that situation.
Yeah, I also thought Benfica in the first half reminded me of a Tony Pulis Stoke City, just long balls, and that was it. Long balls all the time. And you've got Diamonde, who's massive. St. Just, he's obviously very quick. So it's like you could try and play long balls against those two, and it never worked. And I saw one tweet, I think it was from the YouTuber Gonzalo. It was like Artikoglu did his best Harry Potter impression. He put on the cloak of invisibility. Because Quaresma, again, had him in his pocket the whole time. And it was actually a defensive masterclass a lot of the time. I think, like Chris said, in the second half, we might have been unlucky not to concede. But I thought Israel was great shot stopping. The free kick in the first half as well was a great save from him too. But yeah, overall, I thought we were the better team over the 90 minutes. I do
One
think
for
we
the cameras. He had that the whole way. The
Yeah.
the TV was like, what a save! It was like a 6. It was like a 5 or 6 out of 10. He had it the whole way. But
Yeah.
I mean, who knows with other keepers in the net if that what happens.
Yeah, that is true. We've seen them go in before, unfortunately. But yeah, I thought even like Fresnel off the bench, I didn't think he was great, but some of the things he did were fine. There was one chance that I think I blame more Jenny than him, where he lost the ball and then Benfica on the counter attack. But I think this new system might fit Fresneda more than a 5-back or playing as that third centre back. I think he's been brought up in that right back role, and maybe he gets more time. I wonder if this means Esgaio is going out. Like I said, I don't know if Esgaio was here. If he comes in instead, who knows? But one thing is for certain, Marcus Edwards again for the 6th game in a row, 0 minutes.
Yeah, he's gone. He's as good as gone, I think. Like I hate that because I like Marcus Edwards, but yeah, I think I don't know that I've seen a player tank his value so much from like one calendar year to the next, quite like Marcus Edwards has in the last
and like
year.
Also it's like I feel like it's just kind of like compounding on itself, where it's like obviously like as the situation like carries on, he just keeps getting like more and more pissed, right? Like if he wasn't running hard enough in training before and that's what caused this, don't play for 2 months. Is that gonna make you run harder?
No,
Probably not.
So
he's probably running even less hard. The new manager comes in and it's like, oh, this is the bad boy that I've heard about. And it's like all he's doing is just like reinforcing the cycle. And yeah, it's probably cooked at this point, to be honest.
I mean,
what do you think they even realistically get for him at this point? Because like it can't
20 be max, and we have what 65% of that. Like the days of 30, 35. I think
the days of 40. There was even shouts at one point.
Those days are
40 million.
Us.
Yeah, those days are gone. They should have cashed in on him.
The drop in form is crazy. I just
what Prem club wants him, bro? A championship club? I don't know. On loan?
Yeah, drop in form is crazy. I think also I hope he's not one to read comments from fans because I mean I've seen him absolutely slaughtered over like the course of the last few months, and yeah, I get it. I think maybe he's focusing less on the football. He focuses on other things. I don't know, but his mind's just not. He's not with it. But arguably, though, you can't take. Like Sam said. I mean, he's a guy who's got so much talent. And I still remember that game against Arsenal in the Champions League where he was dribbling around like a mad, like literally like Messi, ball attached to this guy's feet. So I don't know. I know that João Pereira, first couple games he confided in him. He was really trying to push him back into the squad, but again, just underwhelming performances, and it's kind of like what do you do player like that who is talented, but it's just going to waste.
Yeah, like he has all the tools needed. It's can he put it together? Can he make something out of it? It feels like.
Yeah, and I think it's one of them where it's like, yeah, he's good off the bench, but if you ask me who I'd rather have at the moment between him and Maxi off the bench, or Harder even, I'd go with Maxi and Harder. I think they're more reliable. They want it more, especially Conrad Harder at the moment. And then that leaves obviously Kenda starting, Jenny starting in this new formation, Trincao starting, Pedro Gonzalez coming back. That's another position down on the pecking order for Marcus Edwards. So
yeah, he's done.
Yeah, especially as guys start to get healthy, like that's just going to push him further and further down.
Yeah, I think he either ends up at like a Crystal Palace or like a near bottom table Premier League side,
like a Manchester United, bro. You would say
he wishes. Crystal Palace on loan is his dream move, bro.
Yeah, he's wishing for Crystal Palace, man.
I'm thinking he's looking more at Watford on loan.
He's looking at like enjoy Millwall, buddy. Like,
no, I know he was linked to Saudi in January, the January before.
That
so I don't know.
Sounds about right.
I'm not knocking on the door. Allegedly,
he's going.
Don't know how.
Yeah, Al Nassr. I think it was Al Nassr, wasn't it? Right?
Al Nassr, one of the Als.
They need help. They need help. They're in like third or fourth. It's not going too great. So yeah, maybe
it's not rosy.
Yeah, Fresneda is a good one. I think you can maybe compare it with the Kresma, how it was for him at the start, always getting thrown in sort of last couple of minutes. Maybe Fresneda turns it around, maybe doesn't. But he's another one that was linked to go to Valencia, I think, in January. So I don't know if he stays or if he goes. He could be loaned out as well and have, as Gaio, or even, like I said, St. Just as the backup right back to Quaresma, or them two rotating. I don't know. There's a lot of options you can do there.
Do you see anybody really moving in January though? Because I feel like they probably just stay in pat, deal with everything in the off season.
I think Fresneda and Edwards are the top two contenders. I think Edwards definitely goes. I think he's 100% gone in January. Fresneda, I think I think it depends on how far into January you get with any more injuries. Because if Quaresma goes down, or knock on wood, St. Just goes down again.
Yeah,
then
he could also, like, as he's playing some of these games where guys haven't been healthy, and he impresses, the team might decide, no, we'll keep him, maybe he gets that as Gaio role where he's playing the quote unquote easy games on paper, or he's getting thrown in for 10, 15 minutes at least, like the cameos, or if like a guy's hurt or suspended kind of thing. So we'll see. I think you're right. I think Edwards probably will be gone. I think Fresneda more of a 50-50 on if he stays or goes.
I agree with Miguel here. I think we bring in, maybe two signings. I think a left back is one that we probably need, especially with Nuno Santos out for.
Been looking for that left back for a couple years now.
Yeah.
And maybe a midfielder as well. I don't know, with Braganza coming back, if they want to get a fourth midfielder, especially this new formation. Maybe look at Thomas Sandell from Guimarães and bring him over or something like that. I don't know how much.
This would be a wonderful time to have Dario Asugo on your team, because he's been playing phenomenal.
Even like Mateus Fernandez, who's now at Southampton. Like, any one of those guys would have done really well. I'm not saying Simões has done bad by any means, but
he's done well. All things considered, he's done quite well. I've been very pleasantly surprised and impressed with them. But I do wonder midfield if they look for one, or if he just decide to be a dick and recall Dario Asugo for a loan.
I don't think we can. I think he's got an option to buy. So
okay, so they probably have to pay a C penalty if they were to do that then.
Yeah. I think maybe a striker as well, but then I don't know if you convert harder more of a wing position and then bring in like an out-and-out goal scorer as a backup. Because I think Gyökeres played well this game, but he hasn't been scoring in open play for quite a while. So I think maybe, even if it's 17 minutes, 80 minutes, bringing someone on that can actually grab a goal. Because I know Harder can, but maybe you get in a more proven striker. I don't know. But yeah, let's go with man of the matches. Omar, who is your man of the match in this game?
Yeah, me, I'm going to say Hjulmand. Just the invisible guy, just made everything happen. Just ball movement was good. I just think it's kind of often what we see from Morita, just the guy that really doesn't get the credit for everything that happens in the background. And I just liked him in this game. Jenny would have got my man of the match. I'm not going to give it to him just because he got the goal. I think that bit at the end where Maxi was to his left and he could have assisted. For me, I don't know, man. Just bad intelligence. It's not intelligent. So Jenny's not the man of the match. Hjulmand definitely for me. But like we said earlier, I think everyone played really, really well. I was really impressed with him. Saint Just played really well. But yeah, Hjulmand for me.
Yeah, Richard, what about you? Who's your man of the match?
I'm gonna go a little off the board too. I'm gonna say Eduardo Quaresma for me. I thought he was really good for long stretches of the game. I like the way he played. It was between him and Hjulmand for me as well, but I thought I'll be different. I'll go for Quaresma. Dimonde's a good shit as well for Miguel Garcia. I wonder if that's the Miguel Garcia if you wait for Cup fame. But yeah, I'll say Quaresma. His bounce back from when he couldn't even sniff a spot on the roster to now is phenomenal. So I'll give it to him.
Yeah, fair enough. Christian, what about you?
I am going to go with Diomande. Just thought he was so critical for us. Couple critical interventions. Just was our rock back there. And, he's had a couple underwhelming performances somewhat recently, I would say. So it's good to see him playing well again.
Yeah. I agree with all of them. I'm going to go a bit left field as well. He didn't score, but I thought Gyökeres was very good in terms of keeping the defense. Benfica defense just tired all the time, never stopped running, got the assist. I thought it was very good with a one touch as well. I thought it was one of them games where, of course, he doesn't score, but the things he adds to the team in terms of creating space, running with the ball, creating his own runs, which he did so many times. How many times this game did Dimonde just hoof it up and then went straight through to Gyökeres because he can just, move so quickly and he's so strong. And he's unfortunate not to score. There's a shot that Trubin did save that I thought was going in, the curl on the ball as well. But yeah, I thought Gyökeres was really good. Didn't score, but was my man of the match. I think, of course, like Omar mentioned, Jenny was great. Just a few boneheaded decisions, I think, take the man of the match away from me. But yeah, anyone, if you gave it to anyone in this team in the starting 11, I'd say would be more than fair. But yes, of course, the title of this podcast is actually because of a sacking that happened. Of course, João Pereira was sacked on Christmas Day. Like 2 minutes to go. They could even wait.
I thought it was like technically it was Boxing Day. If you want to be technical about it.
Well, it was 2 minutes left, I think, wasn't it, of Christmas Day when they tweeted it out?
Oh, was it?
I mean, I'm sure he knew before.
He probably. I like to think that he had.
I think he knew on like Christmas Eve, like it was done. Like if we're being honest with ourselves here, I think by Christmas Eve he kind of knew what his fate was going to be.
Yeah. But I'll start off with you, Richard. Of course, I think people will say that he was deservedly sacked or, mutual termination because he didn't ask for any of the fee in his contract. Do you think it was maybe too little too late? They should have done it a bit earlier? Or do you think, you gave him a fair enough chance?
He got a more than a fair enough chance, I think. We came on the show when he was appointed. We said we really don't know what's going to happen. We were hoping for the best, and we all said, give him a chance. He could surprise us.
11:54 on Christmas Day, by the way. So
that's crazy. Wow.
Savage.
That
is savage.
That's harsh. That fucking sucks. I feel bad for the guy because he was put in a really not like just an awful situation when you think about it. Like you've got to follow up one of the best coaches the team's ever had, certainly in the last like 30 years or so, I would say. Like that's just awful to put him in. No experience, doesn't even have his coaching badge, so he can't even actually like coach. Which maybe that should have told you maybe you shouldn't have hired him, and you probably should have gone after someone like a Rui Borges or somebody of that caliber. He got ample chances. The team was very much not improving. They were getting worse by the week. It was very evident that he was losing the locker room. I think a change had to be made. I hope for good things for João Pereira. He seems like a nice enough guy. I just think he needs to get his coaching badges, and he needs to maybe start a little more low key than one of the biggest teams in Portugal. I think that's where I see it. But I'm not upset about the decision to fire him. We were calling for his head the last couple shows anyway, so we'll see what Rui Borges does. He's stressed, he's new. He's going to be figuring stuff out still, not unlike João Pereira, but I think just from the first game already, we've noticed a bit of difference. We see a bit of that fight back in the team that we haven't seen since Ruben Amorim left.
Yeah, facts. Does anyone sort of disagree, or are we all in agreement that it was arguably too little too late? They should have done it maybe a bit beforehand.
Yeah,
all in agreement.
Yeah, I think the next best time to do it would have been prior to the Gil Vicente game, even, or the Santa Clara Taça game where they barely squeaked a win. I think that's the only other time he feasibly could have done it. But they said let's give him at least one more game before Christmas and see what happens. And they gave him his game, and they saw what happened, and I think they kind of had their mind made up. But the second the final whistle went, that they couldn't continue with him.
Yeah.
You know what I kind of find quite funny actually is the fact that after every poor performance it was Rua João Pereira, Rua. Like he had to go. The moment he goes, I see this from all the fans. They're like, but like it wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault. I love the Sporting fans are always like this. But yeah, I mean, João Pereira. I'll be real with you guys. And I know I watched the show that you guys did when he came in. From the first when they entered João Pereira, I had absolutely zero confidence in this guy, and that was straight up. It was the way
and that's
that,
fair. I wouldn't blame anyone for feeling that at that time.
no, and you know what? Everyone deserves the the opportunity to come into a role and prove themselves. But when they first presented him, it was this kind of robotic-esque way of talking, and it was after like every visual that I saw, it was the same type of way of communicating, and it was really pissing me off. And granddad, bless him, who's in Lisbon, he always calls me after the games, and he was like, "Nah, but we gotta give him a chance. We gotta give him a chance." And I was like, "This is not gonna go well. Like this." And we saw it. The spell of games that we had, it was just absolutely terrible. I had no confidence in the guy. And don't get me wrong, I love João Pereira. Like I think he's a great guy. But this was not. We say in Portuguese. He não tinha o papel. He just didn't have the experience, man. And for Varandas to throw somebody from the team into this role when there was so much expectation, what you were inheriting was so tough to live up to. You had to. I mean, it's beyond me sometimes how there was no contingency plan in place. I mean, this was the contingency plan to bring in somebody that had absolutely zero experience. And you're, this is arguably the biggest club in Portugal now. So, no fault of his own. He was dragged in by Varandas, and
yeah.
Everybody
was in agreement. They should have and could have gone after a more experienced manager at the time. And there was
absolutely.
There was so many managers that were available at the time. This guy would be great.
He got too greedy because I think that if it like worked enough, right? He could have been like,
"Look at me.
I just have like a stable of top managers."
It was high risk, low reward.
That you can have him, but you're gonna have to pay like 20 million for him. And he's just gonna start like this like assembly line of like, I don't know, and like
managers.
And like his own reputation. It's like, oh, he can just get these managers, and like he just knows, it's different. He's different, but it kind of looks more like he just got lucky with Amorim more than anything.
Yeah.
Like that was his back against the wall. This is my last like attempt here, because like obviously if the Amorim hire doesn't go right and he hires another shit,
the president.
If they hire another shit manager and it just continues shittily there, yeah, he's not the president today. So I mean, I guess he kind of knew, because Amorim was even like. And when he had won the Taça da Liga, right? He had a good run with Casapia. He had like 20 games at least under his belt.
But he had first team experience
at the top level. Level. This guy had about 20 games in the third tier under his belt, and that's it.
Yeah.
With equal similar careers as like, high level professional players.
Mm-hmm.
It was a gamble. He kind of thought he could get lightning to strike twice. That's very difficult. Nearly impossible.
But yeah, highly
it's quite nearly impossible. And now it just seems like I don't think he necessarily thinks Rui Borges is even like the manager of the future per se, but he is just kind of like a safe.
He's a safe bet.
He's a safe bet.
He's low risk.
Yeah, he's low risk, and it's just like, can he get us, to the end of this year in a good spot, which I think he probably can. But
I think based on what he's been able to do with Guimarães, that gives me a lot of second in the Conference League. I have some good teams
even more the years before that as well.
Yeah, like more of a reason I think to be cautiously optimistic with him as opposed to when João Pereira comes in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is just like, I could have just done that originally, maybe saved us 4 losses, but hey, I'm glad he
maybe they probably still lose, like say the Arsenal game. I think they probably were going to lose that anyways. But you probably don't drop nearly the points you do domestically.
Yeah,
you probably eke out a draw away in the Champions League, so you're not feeling so bad. Like you probably lose a couple games still, but you probably don't lose like 4 or 5 games like they did.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
to be fair, but I doubt it. To be.
Yeah, I did drink a bit of the Kool-Aid with João Pereira because, after, I know it was only Amaranth, but I thought, you know what? It was a good performance, and probably a bit naive of me. I thought, all you have to do is play exactly the same formation that Ruben Amorim was playing. You have to say, just continue doing what you're doing. Don't have to say much. And then,
It was a simpler time.
Quickly went downhill. But yeah, I am. To be fair, like I said, I was one of them people that wanted him to go. And then I do think it wasn't his fault. I think he was just given the job too early. Like, he's not going to say no, is he? Like, I think
No,
if anyone
I wouldn't have
given the
said
job,
No,
I would have said
no
so.
way. Yes.
Sporting's knocking on the door, and you're not going to pass on that opportunity ever. Are you crazy? No,
Because if
way.
it goes right for him, he has to skip the first 7 years of being a manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're already at an elite club, so you skip the beginning part.
And then if he is successful here, then it's like boom, you just move to you pull it out.
Yeah, you're on the rocket ship up. Yeah.
One thing I have to say though, this I think about this now for a good part of most of a week now. I've been really questioning the whole Fernandes presidency, because realistically he comes in. What did we go through to get to Amorim? We went through what? Kaiser, Silas.
We went through because he didn't hire Peseiro. That was a Sintra interim move. So yeah, we went through Kaiser, Silas, Ponch. We went through.
All right,
yeah.
But then Amorim lands on your lap, right? Amorim just falls. Can you tell he can't? He just falls there.
Yeah,
it goes completely right. But that's like an outlier, because then we're now in this situation. João Pereira comes in, and João Pereira's like, he went for him. He was like, I want this guy. He's the future. I confide in him. This was very much a Fernandes kind of setup.
This was him planting his flag, going, "This is my guy."
Yeah. Thinking that this was going to be, Ruben Amorim 2.0, and it just goes so bad. And then, I don't know if you guys watched I'm sure you guys did see when Rui Borges was presented. Just really bad communication on the part of Fernandes. Some really strange things were said in that when we brought on for the initial talk, when they presented him, saying things like, João Pereira couldn't be João Pereira. I mean, I really didn't understand what that meant, because João Pereira had all the conditions literally inherited to be whoever João Pereira was supposed to be. And in recent weeks, I've seen some really odd things come out of Frederico Fernandes, Mr. Dr. Frederico Fernandes, which I don't understand. I think sometimes it's best to keep your mouth shut, even when there's a storm. And he's come out and just said some really peculiar things. But that João Pereira not being able to be João Pereira, I didn't understand. Guy had all the conditions to take the club,
Yeah, I do think Fernandes speaks better when he speaks, in longer distance of each other. So he'll speak in May when we won the league, and then he won't speak again till October, when he has time to think. And I think he probably has a team around him, just you should say this or don't say that.
I don't think he's good on the fly.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what it is. And you mentioned the João Pereira being João Pereira. What about when he said, "Oh yeah, Rui Borges, we've been looking at him for a year"? It's like, okay, why didn't you?
Why didn't you go after him a month ago?
That should have never come out.
That's a red flag, right?
He also said that João Pereira is being prepared for over a year.
Yeah, exactly. And when Silas was hired, and he in his first press conference, he was like, he was a fourth choice, but what can you do? It's just
he literally said, I called 3 other guys, they all said no, so I just landed on Silas.
He literally named it. He's like, I did ring Jose Mourinho, and he said, I'm not going to come to a club with crazy people. So here's Silas, by the way. And it's like, okay, what a great endorsement of your next manager.
Yeah. And there was, and after that, there was people who bought into the Silas hype train. Apparently, there was a hype train. Apparently, and I'm like,
Danny Saldana, I think, was one of them. I think
he told me that, and I went, this was the 4th choice for a manager, and you thought there was a hype train.
He was cooking a little bit with D Sad.
He was, yeah. Oh. But I think I guess the last thing we'll speak about on João Pereira, or I will anyway, is that I think Fernandes was. I think he thought João Pereira would be a bit more protected because of his, status as a sort of club hero. I wouldn't say club legend. I don't think he's there. but it's someone who was liked by the fans, and someone who
Yeah.
would have been protected by the fans. I think he probably thought, if it does go badly, the fans will protect him. But I think now, the Sporting of 4 years ago when we were finishing fourth and stuff like that, the Sporting fans might have been a bit more patient then. But considering where we were when Amorim left and what we've been expecting with Ruben Amorim,
flying high.
Exactly, yeah. The Sporting fans aren't going to settle for mediocrity anymore. And another horrendous quote was when he was in the airport going to Bruges, and he said, Sporting will never be managed from the outside. I'm not going to sack João Pereira. And then what? 2 weeks later, João Pereira ends up sacked anyway. So it's just, sometimes I understand he's got to say like, oh yeah, I have faith in manager, blah, 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 but just don't give me all the extra stuff. Just be like, yeah, I have faith in João Pereira, he'll turn it around, blah, blah, blah. That's what you need to say, really. Not the whole.
Yeah, him saying like we're not going to be
by
influenced by outside stuff. I'm like, I would hope you're not influenced by outside stuff because that's not how you run a club, especially with a fan base as fickle as ours. Like this fan base will turn on people on a dime.
It really gets you thinking though, because it's like, obviously none of us were in the locker room, right? We didn't see his team talks. We didn't see his training sessions.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't see the confidence in which he spoke about tactics in front of the whiteboard. We didn't see his film sessions, etc. But based on the indications, like the amount of respect it seems like he was commanding from the players, I find it hard to believe those things were going great.
No, yeah.
So it's like, was Varandas like sitting in on these sessions with the B team manager? Like, did he not see what was going on? Like, or was he just like so good with the B team and then you put him in front of like better players and he like lost his confidence? I don't know. I find it very hard to believe that he was just like so good at all that stuff. His film breakdowns were just like out of this world. That 25-year-old on the iPad was just like unreal. And he just like was so confident in that. I just don't think he prepared it well enough. He wanted it to be true, and he just kind of like willed it into being true. But I don't think it ever actually was true.
Yeah.
That was playing fucking Clash of Clans on his iPad, anyways. Probably
not influenced by the club from the outside. And then it's funny because then moments later, Rui Borges appears and the fans were crying out, Rua João Pereira. You just saw it on every single comment.
Is he going to go back to the beach? I haven't really gotten an answer on or is he just on his
I think he maybe just steps away for a little bit to.
That's tough because
not be in
from 2 jobs to basically 0. That's
tough. He did hire a new B team manager, I think. So it'd be hard to sack him.
It's not like they're just going to get rid of that guy now.
Miguel has put. Do you think João was using ChatGPT on that iPad?
No, he was playing Clash of Clans. he was playing games.
I'm down 1-0 in the 60th minute. What should we do?
What should I do? Make 0 substitutions. We're tied 0-0 at the 70th minute. What should I do? Bring on a defender.
Man, yeah. But I guess that's it for João Pereira. Before we get into the predictions for that game, I will give a special shout out to Longball Football, who did their Christmas quiz, and I was lucky enough to participate on it. Unfortunately, I did finish second. There were 3 people, so didn't come last.
Okay, we'll take it.
We'll take it. And also, I just want to point this out as well, which was Benfica
nice.
Sporting player handing out presents at Christmas time, and it was a really good initiative. And I think we should see a bit more of this in football, Portuguese football, especially in this day and age. So I thought it was a really nice touch from both players there. So that was really nice. But yes, in terms of predictions, I think we all pretty much went similar score lines. I think all of us predicted a win.
None of us got points for the Gil Vicente game.
Oh yeah, I forgot that even happened.
0 points for Gil Vicente. We're not even going to get into that game.
Yeah, it was a 0-0. No one cares. No one cares about that.
I want with a draw.
Yeah, there's probably a smart move at the time.
I'm happy to be wrong.
Yeah, I'm happy you were wrong too.
Yeah. Me and Richard go for the same score of 2-1. He goes with Gyökeres ×2. I go with Gyökeres harder. Unfortunately, none of us got the goal scores, but got the win. And Danny went for a 3-1. I thought was a bit out
way
there.
Too optimistic from Daniel.
Wow.
He's been getting kind of crazy with the predictions the last few weeks.
Yeah. Next game is against Guimarães on the 3rd. Omar, I know you're not part of this predictions league, but give me a prediction and I'll put it in for my one. So do me nice here, please.
Yeah. Obviously, based on the fact that Rui Borges is leading the team now, and the new manager that's just come to Vitória de Guimarães, he hasn't really had enough time to scope the team. I think that we, I really don't want to say. I feel like we kind of have it in the bag. I'm saying a 2-0 Sporting. Gyökeres and Trincão to score.
Ooh, okay.
Nice.
I mean, it's Guimarães away is always a tricky away day. Usually, very seldom do we ever blow them out. I feel so. I feel like it's going to be a close game.
We've dropped.
They're one of the better teams. They're one of the better teams in our league. You got obviously the three big ones, and I always kind of put Braga and Range there.
Yeah, they're like that right now. They're just stuck in that second tier below, like trying to make a jump up.
Yeah, and I do like Daniel Souza as well. I think he'll do good at Guimarães, especially after what happened with Braga as well. It's sort of a fuck you to them going to Guimarães. Yeah. But we'll see. Chris, what is your prediction for this game?
I do kind of like 2-1, to be honest, because I do think that they will score. It will be, obviously our manager is familiar with some of their or most of their players. Maybe not exactly with their tactics so much anymore, but like obviously he knows what to look out for, danger man, and I don't think the tactics are going to change that much with the new manager on short notice. So goal scorers, I'm going to go Rujo. It's got to be coming soon. And Harder.
He's due. Rujo and Harder. That's a good show.
Nice. Do as well. They both do.
Yeah. And if we go take a look at the predictions, Richard is storming away in first still with 52 points.
Out here.
Chris with 36 in second. Danny in third with 36. And you both tied.
You guys are tied. Yeah, because Chris didn't get a point at all in the last two games, but Danny got a point, so he tied him on the Benfica game.
And I'm 2 points behind, but we're catching slowly but surely, and we'll get there.
Yeah.
But yes, that is it for predictions. We do have some news. Of course, we all know Rui Borges has become the new manager, and he's been given a contract until I believe 2026. But if he wins the league, he gets extended to 2027 and a little bit of a raise as well. So good incentive there. A random transfer, I thought, not really sporting related. But Yannick Balassi, he's way to Cruzeiro
still plays?
Brazil.
In
Brazilian top division.
That's crazy. I forgot about him.
He was very good last season for Curitiba?
Yeah.
Was it Curitiba he played for? He was on fire. He did really well. So, yeah, killing out in Brazil. So, fair play to him.
There's a couple former Sporting boys in Brazil.
Yeah, I think, was it Battaglia won the Copa Libertadores? Was he at Botafogo or was he at Mineiro?
No, he's at Atlético Mineiro, yeah. And he's like a center back now as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think Bruno Tabata's still on Palmeiras, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he got loaned to Qatar. I think.
He's playing for... Okay, so he plays for Alexandre Pato's old team. Okay.
Yeah.
He did go to Qatar. Well. I think he's back, to be honest. I haven't followed it that closely. Also, Matheus Pereira is at Cruzeiro as well.
Oh, yeah.
He got a Brazil call-up last year.
That's crazy. And, good for him, but that's crazy. Good on him.
Yannick Balassi played in the same team last year with Tobias Figueiredo as well, which is a name from the past.
That's a blast from the past if I ever heard one. That's a banter name from the past.
Yeah, this stat I thought was interesting. Since 2000-2001 season, only 6 times has first place at the end of the calendar year not being crowned champion at the end of the season. So
do we know who that was those 6 times? Because I feel like we were definitely at least 1 or 2 of them.
Probably.
Probably. Yeah, I think we were in 15-16, to be fair. I'll get 15, it up so 16 we can have a look.
For sure. I feel like maybe 2006-07 they might have. Because that was the year they lost by like a point. It was like them, Porto and Benfica were all separated by a point. So I feel like that might have also been when they blew it, kind of.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see like the teams and like what the point differentials were. That's a fun stat that I'd like to go deeper on if we ever have time.
another stat as well. This has now gone to 8 Sporting wins, 8 Benfica wins. So 8 in all in Frederico Fernandes' time at president of Sporting even. So another fun stat there. I don't know if there's any more. Do you have any modality news, Chris, you want to quickly rack off?
Basketball lost to Benfica on the road this weekend. Futsal lost to Supertaça to Braga. Rare, chance to just spam a free trophy. Failed, sadly. No ladies game. We've been on winter break for a lot of those modalities as well. So we only really got back to it this weekend, and it wasn't all of the teams. I don't think handball or hockey played. So yeah, I think that is it.
All right.
Yeah.
Quick modality to wrap up. We take those.
A random one. I don't know if you guys saw this one.
Oh yeah, this was all over Reddit.
President of the league is 50 years of membership with Benfica, which is
How old is Pedro Proença?
I think it's one of them when you're given it as a child, because I know a few people.
You have to be. Yeah.
Because
I didn't think I was gonna say even then. I don't think he's that old.
No,
I bet that's how old he is exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Huh.
But yeah, he's
54. So
there you go. There was a nice little ceremony at the start of the game for Nani as well, because obviously he retired a few weeks ago. So that was nice to honor him there. And I thought, you know what, a cool design as well with the back.
I'm gonna edit that so that it scales to an iPhone wallpaper too. By the way, because that's a sick photo.
Yeah.
Make sure you tweet that out as well, because I probably might have to steal that at some point as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah. It was nice to see him. I forgot he won 3 tosses because he technically won the 2019 one, even though he was off the team at that point because he played enough games. So he did get a medal. I forgot. I always forget about that.
That was the most shithouse final I've ever seen, bro.
What about the Toss the Liga from the same season? That was also
that one was worse though because we had to hold out longer because that was 120 minutes.
Oh yeah, true. Well, that's because we led. We led, and then they let a literal last kick of the game header go in.
Yeah.
Extra time, which was brutal.
But to be honest, we deserved to concede, though. So.
Oh, they were playing like dog shit. They were lucky they won that.
It was one-way traffic.
But yeah, I always forget about the hidden tossa that Nani won. I wish he won a league. He's one of those guys. I wish he had got the league title, but a couple cups, we'll take them.
Yeah. That's 48,000 spectators in the stadium, which I think is probably a record for this season, I would guess. Or definitely close up there.
I always like to retweet the attendance for the home games just so people can get it in perspective. But there's been some threes, some this season. Some games in the threes, which is not what you like to see.
We haven't had any in the 20,000s though.
I don't think so. It hasn't gotten that bad that I recall.
But the rate that we were going,
it was gonna get.
I wouldn't have put it past them if they kept it up. Yeah.
So yeah, St. Just as well, an appearance number, which is a weird one. Only 7 appearances away from matching last year's total, and same with Fresneda, only 2 appearances away, which is a crazy stat for both of them.
They got there. So I feel like Fresneda could.
St. Just 7 games, long way to go.
That's a lot. That's a lot of games for St. Just. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I haven't found. I think I might have found it. Yeah. So the clubs that didn't win the trophy, despite being top of Christmas, was Porto in 2001, I believe, where Boavista won it. If that is correct, am I right to correct that?
Okay.
That is the first one. In 2005, where Trapattoni was top of the league, and Porto won it, I believe.
Okay.
Same with Benfica and Porto in 2009, but the other way it was Porto winning it from Benfica. No, sorry, Porto winning it from Benfica that year as well. And we mentioned it, of course, Sporting in 2016 was one in there as well. Yeah. And last but not least, Bruno Lage winning the title in 2019 instead of Sergio Conceição. So,
I forgot about that one.
A few crazy ones, but I think that is it for today. Unless anyone else has anything else you want to. This was a weird one, not Sporting related, of course, but Amorim subbing off Xerxes in the first half an hour of the game. And
Yeah,
another
things
loss
are
for
going
Amorim.
abysmal for him. He actually, I didn't think it was possible where it's like, okay, like he's not going to get sacked, right? Like they'll give him
Like,
the rest of it. I mean, bro, if he loses like
starting to wonder.
he loses like 2-3 more in a row. He's already at 4 in a row. He loses like 7 in a row. He might get.
They might.
He might
Yeah.
get his
He
ass.
gave up. He
sacked.
gave up a generational sporting team to go fight a relegation battle with Manchester United.
And I
That's
came home
crazy.
from the gym and I saw that they had lost, and I was like, oh, you just get that feeling, you're like, oh man, because I'm following the United games,
Yeah.
I've got love for Mourinho, but man, this is not going according to plan.
Yeah.
But
Nah.
then
I
again,
hate watching it.
it's got to be a sporting situation. I was talking to my mum about this. It's going to be a sporting situation. I mean, it's coming mid-season. Like, what you don't expect anything right now.
Yeah.
But the fact, like, the media here in the UK are on to him. They're on him.
It's
I mean,
it's
something on Sky Sports
Any
came out
any
today.
manager at Man U gets that every single time.
yeah. Like you take what it is in Portugal and you have to dial it up to like 11. Like it's just
Yeah.
so much
Boy,
crazy.
I mean, he must be stressed. He must be stressed.
Yeah, he's gonna start like looking it in the face, and his hair is gonna start getting gray. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you can even
There is-
already see in some of the pictures now. It looks like he's aged like a couple of years.
Yeah, there's one picture I have. I'll try and find it.
It was like you could see the lines on his face, and like you could just see like he kind of had some bags under his eyes.
Yeah, it's like
he
the
looked
president of
tired.
the United States always ages like 20 years in 4 years.
He just
I mean, he's
like he looks like he's aged like not like 20 years, but he's aged like a couple
he's
years.
gonna start balding.
Like man,
Poor bastard.
But no, I did hate watch this game, and I've been hate watching every single Man United game that has happened. But someone did.
You must
reply
have
to me.
seen
I respect that.
some bad games then.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
you're watching some
But-
bad. That's some commitment because that's some bad football you're watching. I couldn't do that.
But it's just like
Respect.
someone said, like, oh, like you have to give him time. Like you can't hate him for what he did for Sporting. I was like, no, I don't hate him. Don't get me wrong, but now he's left Sporting. Now he's left Sporting. Why do I support you? Like I say that pretty much about
And
like
it's
99% of
like,
Sporting
you
players
know,
as well.
He's not coming back here at this point now either,
No,
So-
there's only a select few players that leave that I'm like, yeah, Paulinho is one of them, but that's because I'm a massive Paulinho fanboy. But even like Coates, I don't really care what he gets up to in Uruguay.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for what he's done, but you're not a part of my club anymore, so I'm not really going to follow you that hardly. So
The Premier League either makes you or breaks you.
Yeah.
yeah, and Amorim is breaking down, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, oh well. Yeah, I think that is it for today, unless anyone else has got anything else to add.
No, we'll be back in the new year. Literally, I'll see you guys next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. Shout out to Omar for joining us. You follow his Insta there, so appreciate you for coming on. You held your own, so no, you did
For
well,
sure.
man. So,
No, honestly, guys, thank you for having me. I just want to put it out there, man. I've been watching this podcast for years, ever since it was Sporting 160. So I remember when I was at university, I had a job just before we go. I had a job as a postman here, whilst I was funding my uni course, and I would put guys in my ear throughout all of my shifts, and I'd just go back. I'd go back sometimes, re-listen to the podcast, just to have something to do. I was putting these pin letters in the post. So years later, it's great to be on the pod with you guys, man. Honestly, big pleasure.
Awesome.
no, appreciate it, man. Thank you for that. And make sure you follow Chris there as well. You follow Richard there as well. Shout out to Danny who couldn't be here today, but make sure you follow him there as well. Follow myself there, but most importantly, make sure you follow all things Alvalade on all social media platforms. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the new year, and peace.